Year 2005, I was about to make a very big decision. I was complaining to my wife, saying, I want to change my job. At that time, in 2005, I was working as a night manager at the hotel called the Ritz, London. And I was doing the night shift for 3.5 years. So I started as a night audit, and I got promotion to assistant night manager, and got another promotion to night manager. So career development was successful, but I was not happy. I was always tired. I didn't like the fact that I have to always work at night, and during the day I sleep. My wife has an opposite life pattern. During my day off, that was more challenging because I try to be awake during the day. So every day, every week, I have to change my life pattern back and forth, which was extremely challenging. At the same time, night shift was not easy in the middle of London. There were lots of incident, accident, complaining, very stressful job. And eventually I was thinking that maybe I'm not a hotelier type. My personality, my way of thinking, the preference is not really matching with the hotelier. So I had some discussion with my wife. What do you think? I quit the job and study further. And one afternoon, it was a Sunday afternoon, just before I submit my resignation letter, I got a phone call on Sunday afternoon during my day off. It was my general manager. He said, "Hi, good afternoon, Charles. This is Stephen Boxall." I remember his name, Stephen Boxall. And he said, "I have a question for you. Do you want to try reservation manager position?" So of course I said yes, because I was just about to resign. And even though I had no idea about the reservation manager position, I just said yes, I want to try. And then from following week, I attended the reservation office. That was my first time. I had no idea about the reservation system. Of course, I knew PMS because I was working in Apple department, but I have no idea what OTA is, revenue management. I never heard about it. And eventually, I realized that this is a fantastic world. I enjoyed every single day in the office. It was so interesting, so exciting. Every morning I couldn't wait until the night team sent the report. I was waiting for the report to see what is the average rate from yesterday, what is our occupancy, how much we are ahead of the budget, behind the budget. I couldn't wait to see the pickup from yesterday, how many room nights we picked up. That was so interesting. And my life has dramatically changed because I start to enjoy my daily life a lot. My time at work was so enjoyable. I managed to spend 16 hours, 17 hours per day. I still remember I go to the office at 7 o'clock in the morning. I never go home until 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Not because I worry about my career, because I loved it. Okay? And eventually then was helping me to grow my career path. So here I am as your general manager. So what I want to tell you is hopefully today you will realize what kind of world we are talking about, because we have only one revenue manager in these two hotels, Ivo Stella, and the other of you have no idea what's going on. Maybe you are a very suitable person in that area. So today, after you finish my class, some of you might find it interesting. You want to find out more about it. In case you are not really interested in revenue management work, no worries, because revenue management is also useful for our daily life. And today, I will give you some examples. It is useful for many different things. Today, even though our title of the class is Basic Revenue Management, I have no intention to make it blah, blah, blah. It will be very practical. We will do a lot of exercise. So hopefully you had your copy. Could be very challenging afternoon for all of us. Are you ready? Okay, let's go then. Yes, I want to show you some photos. I went to shopping mall to take this photo. Yeah, we have a special offer, usually 23,000. Now you can get it at 19,000. We have a lot of options for my new car. So this is a clearance sale. So you can see the price tag, which is very, very attractive. Okay, this is the mall in Japan. So they are selling rice cookers. Okay, so when it comes to rice cookers, please choose Korean one, not Japanese. Okay, it's a better quality. Anyway, so this is showing some rice cookers. Oh, this is a photo of our EV style Boraya. What was the difference between first three photos and this? What's missing here? Yes, price tag. But long time ago, we used to have price tag. When the concept of hotel business was first developed, we used to have a price tag. And something happened. When a hotel owner start to run a hotel business, he or she start to learn some lessons day by day. Someday, she realized that he end up selling only half of the room and the other half is just empty. And he remembered that there was one guest coming in 10 o'clock in the morning saying that we have a room. And I said, yes, I have a room. The price is 2.99. And he said, it's too expensive. I will find another one, and went out. And I just wish I took that business. And next day, he realized that he sold all of his rooms and he has 10 more guests coming in to check in. Say, do you have a room? Do you have a room? And some of them said, I don't care of the price, just as long as you can give me the room. And I wish I have one more room. I don't have. And this owner realized something's wrong here. I should not put price tag. I'm losing my opportunity. So he or she is starting to play around with the price, and it is called yield management. Yield management is strategy you are exercising with a limited inventory. So once you sell all out, you cannot sell one more. Or if you do not sell today, you cannot sell tomorrow. So now you have to make sure that you try to sell most of your stock inventory at the possible highest price. That is called yield management. So who are using this concept? Yield management was developed by one industry called airlines. They are the first one who was smart enough to think about this concept. Why? Because they have to follow the schedule, which has a lot of fixed cost. So every time you fly from Korea to Indonesia, Indonesia to Korea, you should pay a lot of money for the gasoline. And sometimes the airplane is half empty. Sometimes it's full and you have another additional booking keep coming in, but you cannot take it. So airline management was thinking, something's wrong here. We have to play with the price. And then they developed this yield management. Some other industries using yield management, good example, bus. You have only 44 seats per bus. And once you sell all out, you cannot sell another one. Train, same. We have a fixed schedule to travel, and it is up to you how you manage to sell all of the seats available per train. Golf course, we have a club, Boraya golf. Okay, if you go during the weekdays, it's quite cheap. But if you go Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, the price is almost double. Why? Because there are so many people who want to play. And we have to obey the economic law of supply and demand. So, golf course, good example. Now it's bowling. Yes, we have let's say bowling alleys have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 lanes. Once you sell all out, you cannot sell number 7. So it's better you play with the price, you charge more for Saturday and Friday evening, and then sell very cheap on Monday afternoon. Theater and cinema, same. If you watch same movie, exactly same movie room, you pay less if it is 11 o'clock in the morning. But if you watch same movie at 3 p.m. on Sunday, you might have to pay more. Rental business, okay? Maybe you didn't think about it. In case you have a spare rooms to rent, think about it. You have to exercise this revenue management. In case there is no enough demand, you might want to lower down the price. Since last week, Eve Rennie is trying to help me to find another house for me. And it's not easy because all the owners say, my house price is 1 million. And then I'm not negotiating down. And then we realized that the house was empty for the last 5 years. This is not yield management. Yield management, if it's better to sell cheap rather than making it empty forever. Media advertisement, if lady, yeah, you need to think about it. We have newspapers, magazines, TV, radio broadcasting. They need advertiser. They need someone sponsoring their ad. And sometimes they sell very high because there are lots of people who want to do advertisement. For example, in the beginning of the school, just 1 month before the school term, there are lots of international schools who want to advertise their updates. And just before Christmas, in the beginning of December, there are lots of hotels who want to advertise their New Year's package and Christmas package. So advertisement fee will be going up. It's not very cheap. You might be aware that electricity also they are using revenue management. If you use electricity, same amount of electricity in the morning is very different from the price from evening. Because they charge different price as per peak hours and slow hours. Telecom, same. You use mobile phone at 3 o'clock in the morning or 11 p.m., 5 p.m., you get charged in a different tariff. So you can see yield management is not something very, very complicated or something away from our life. It is happening every day in our daily lives. Even medical service now starting to use yield management. You see a doctor on Monday afternoon, it's cheaper than seeing a doctor Saturday afternoon. Because many of us cannot go to hospital during the weekdays because we have to work. So Saturday, Sunday, medical service could be more expensive. Same as financial consulting or bankers or insurance consulting, law consulting, and so on. So we just talked about yield management. So yield management, once again, is strategy, system we are utilizing to maximize the revenue from limited service or product we can sell. So what is the difference between yield management and revenue management? Anybody have an opinion? You heard about it, right? You heard about yield management. You heard about revenue management. Okay, so like I said, yield management concept was developed long time ago, like 30 years ago by airline industry. So in the beginning, they were only concentrating on how to maximize revenue, didn't think about something else. Now, after a few years, people are trying to realize that there is something else you need to consider. First of all, cost. If you ask me to make 1 million from one day, I have a very easy way to do that. I can sell something very, very expensive at $1 times 1 million units. and then I can make $1 million. So we have to consider what is the cost. Otherwise, maximizing revenue is not possibly giving you maximum profit. So now we are starting to see, there's something else we need to consider. We have to see what is the margin, what is the cost, what is the profit. Second thing, now we start to see is additional revenue from other part of the business. Let's talk about the cost first. You have same size of the hotel and you have two different ways to make a same revenue. You can sell 100 rooms to make this revenue, or you can sell 50 rooms to make same revenue, which means the ADR will be twice higher, right? Okay, which one is better? If you can make exactly same revenue, is it better to sell 100 rooms or 50 rooms? Yeah, 50. Why? Yeah, cost is half, right? Because if we sell 100 rooms, we have to hire more housekeeping attendant, we need to spend more amenities, we have to spend more chemical, electricity, so the cost will be almost double up. I mean, the variable cost will be double up. So it's better to sell only 50 rooms as long as the revenue is same. That was what we talked about. Second one is we need to consider the other revenue. Now this time, I do not want to talk about revenue. Let's talk about the profit. We can make exactly same room profit by selling 100 rooms or 50 rooms. Which one do you want to go for? You can make the exact same profit after deducting all the cost. Yeah, 100 rooms. Why? Because now we have opportunity to create additional revenue and profit from spa, F&B, transportation, possibly internet, laundry. Okay, so now, yes, starting point was only the seats, only the room we have. But now we need to realize that by taking this business, there's just some other additional extra revenue we can generate due to this main business. So revenue management is more wider concept. We are talking about cost, we are talking about profit, we are also talking about other part of the business which can give us additional profit and revenue. Is it clear? This is review. Why revenue management? Anybody remember why we need to do revenue management? There are certain conditions we have in order to sell our product has a certain characteristics, right? That is why we are exercising revenue management. What was the nature or characters of the hotel product? First one, most important? Capacity, yes. Fixed capacity. Okay. Novotel has only 179 rooms. Ibis-Style has only 205 rooms. Once we sell all of them, finished. We cannot sell anymore. Another very important character of hotel product is perishable inventory. So once again, perishable means you do not sell today, you have no chance to sell tomorrow. It's gone. It's totally gone. So you have to make sure that as long as we have some vacant room today, we have to do our best to sell it out. Another one, high fixed cost, low variable cost. We talked about it already. Cleaning one room doesn't cost us a lot. For your information, let's take an example from Novotel. Our Novotel room margin is 75%, which means every time we make 1 million, our cost is only 250. So considering that our average rate is around 850, our room variable cost is around 200. So when we are not full, if someone says, I want your room at 300,000, we have to take it, right? So we are just about to close our day. So I'm the night manager, so I'm Park Ricardo. And there was one guest coming at 11 p.m. just before night audit. And I said, can I have a room at 300,000? And then you know you have 20 rooms available. You have to take it. Why? Because if we refuse it, there's a zero profit. If we take it, it's 100,000 rupiah profit because cost is only 200. That is what we are talking about. Advanced sales. In order for us to play with the price, we need to know when we are going to be busy, when we are going to be empty, slow. And that is only possible when we have a reservation system. Okay? So we are lucky because customer book our rooms in advance. So we can see our pattern. Okay, this Saturday we are going to be full. Next Saturday we are going to finish at about 85%. So it's a bit slow Saturday. So why don't we sell a little bit lower price from now? Yes, that is possible to predict because of advanced sales. Time variable demand. Yes, we all know that we are going to be full on the 31st of December. That is why we never sell our room below 3 million. We all know that we are going to be empty on Sunday night. So whoever approaches us to get a room on Sunday night, we say, thank you very much for coming. We give whatever you want. Yeah? That is only possible because we know there's a time variable demand. Segmentable market. If you remember, this is very important concept, right? Segmentable market means our market can be categorized, segmented into different character and buying behavior. So simple definition would be business guests and leisure guests, right? If you remember, leisure guests make a booking in advance, so their reservation will come in advance. Unfortunately, they are very price sensitive, so they are not willing to pay a lot. So it's usually low ADR business, but they book in advance. So in certain time of the booking window, we have to stop them because we also know that there will be business guests coming later, close to the arrival date. That is segmentable market with a different purchasing behavior and character. Now we talked about why we are doing revenue management. So if someone asks us, what is revenue management? I think we also need to know what is revenue management. So once again, very complicated. So that's why I never really pay attention to what, because what is always boring. It makes you sleep. It makes you go away. Okay, so let's remember only one thing. Revenue management is to maximize revenue. That's the only thing we need to know. What else? We want to maximize the revenue. That's everything you need to know. So don't worry about the others. So we want to maximize the revenue. So let's remind ourselves there's a very simple calculation of revenue, right? You should never forget this formula because otherwise when you come up with a sales strategy, marketing strategy, F&B promotion planning, everything goes wrong. You have to stick to this. Revenue equals price times number of sales. So if you want to make a F&B promotion, you have to see, this promotion will be increasing price, average check. This promotion will increase number of sales without sacrificing price, for example. If your promotion is not doing anything with these two, it doesn't work. It's a waste of your time, waste of our Macom department time and energy. We talked about yield management and revenue management. Then what is hotel revenue management? Can we define in a simple word? Yes, we can. This is a common general definition of hotel revenue management. Hotel revenue management means all about selling the right room to the right customer at the right price at the right time. Okay? And the purpose is very clear. We want to maximize the revenue per available time-based inventory unit. Available time-based inventory unit means room in this case. Right? But we do not call it room. Why? Because we also can do revenue management with banquet room. Okay? Banquet room also has a available time-based inventory, right? We cannot sell 2 times same banquet room to the 2 different customers. Okay? So we can do our revenue management from banquet. So this is the simple definition, which is very easy to remember. We need to sell the right room. Okay? We need to see if it is a family of 5, or couple, or single traveler who check in at 11 p.m. Okay, so you work in FO department, you want to maximize your revenue, so you try to upsell. But if you try someone who is checking at 11 p.m. and departure at 6 a.m., saying, I have a beautiful suite room with a beautiful balcony at 11 p.m., you have a 0 chance to make it happen, right? Yeah, because you will stay only 6 hours. So why do you need a suite with a beautiful balcony? Over the night, you cannot see the garden anyway. Okay, so you need to understand the right product to the right customer at the right price, at the right time. Quiz. But this quiz is not coming from what we just talked about for last 20 minutes. This is just something you need to think. Yes or no? We can implement revenue management for restaurants. Who says yes? Yes. Fantastic. Yes, because a restaurant also has a limited inventory, right? So we have a restaurant with 50 seats or 100 seats, 250 seats. Once it is all occupied, we cannot sell the same seats for next 2-3 hours. So yes, we can implement revenue management for restaurants. That is correct. So you all got it right. Next question. The price for big group should be cheaper than small groups. Okay. Who say yes? Okay. Yeah, many of you say yes. So if the size of the group is big, the price is usually cheaper. Okay. And who says no? Okay. Yes, so I have a similar number of yes and no, and similar number of I have no idea. Okay. This one, I will not give you the answer yet. Let's talk about it later, because we have one exercise. We can do it together. I will show you what the answer is. The question number 3. You should increase your selling price if you want to increase your ADR. ADR means average daily rate. Okay? So if you want to increase our ADR, we have to sell higher rate. Who said yes? Only Eve lady? Who say no? Yeah, this one also I will give you the answer later. So don't go away, please stay tuned. Sorry, I'm speaking to my YouTube channel subscribe. The last question is, when hotel occupancy forecast is almost 100%, we can play around. So we should increase our selling price or close our cheapest room category to maximize our revenue. Who says yes? Who says no? We have Ibu Dalia, okay, Pak Fahan and Pak Andy, Pak Ricardo. So we have 4 or 5 people said no. Okay. The key word here is almost. Almost. It's not 100%, it's 99%, 98%. Okay, so the answer will be given to you in about 30 minutes. We need to talk about some jargons. We have some terminologies we need to know, because otherwise we cannot really follow the lecture. So let me introduce some terminologies. Most important terminology you need to know when we talk about revenue management is RevPAR. Without knowing RevPAR, we cannot talk about revenue management. Definition of RevPAR. RevPAR means the name of the term is self-explaining the meaning. Revenue per available room. So revenue per available room means RevPAR. It's not revenue per sold room, it's per available room. So if you make 10,000 from 10 room available, is 1,000 per room. That is your RevPAR. How to calculate RevPAR? Many of you have seen it, but I think it's better to do it one more time, just in case you forgot. Yes, so we have a very basic spreadsheet. You have rooms available. So how many rooms we have for this YTD, year to date, and how many rooms we have sold, and we have occupancy, ADR, and what was the room revenue we have generated so far YTD. So let's calculate it together. This occupancy, ADR, and RevPAR is something all of us should be able to calculate. So in case we are not competent yet, please pay attention. Occupancy means it's percentage of the rooms occupied out of the total inventory, right? So if you have 10 rooms, if you have 2 rooms occupied, it's 20%. If you have 100 rooms and 50 rooms occupied, it's 50%. So very simple to calculate. Rooms sold divided by rooms available. So equals rooms sold 9,100 divided by 12,000. The answer is 75.8. Now we want to calculate ADR. ADR means average daily rate. We have many rooms sold, and then we have total revenue. So what was the rate we have sold in average? That is average rate. Because not all the rooms are sold in the same price. Some rooms are sold at $100, some rooms $80, $85, $90. So we need to calculate average. So simple way to do that is our total room revenue divided by the room number sold. So equals revenue was 15 million. Is billion actually. Billion divided by room sold 9,100. So our ADR is 1,648,000. Now you want to calculate RevPAR. The reason RevPAR was appeared in the beginning was because we want to evaluate hotels' performance, and it was not easy with occupancy and ADR. I will show you what I mean. I will just copy the formula and paste to see the other hotels' occupancy and ADR. So from this number, yes, occupancy wise, Hilton is very strong, doing fantastic, 85%. The problem is Hilton ADR is lower than other hotel. ADR is only 1.4. We have some hotels like Ritz-Carlton, 1.9. The problem of Ritz-Carlton is occupancy. Their occupancy is only 50.7. So we cannot really evaluate who is performing better, who is performing poor. That's how RevPAR, concept of RevPAR has been developed. RevPAR has a 2 ways to calculate. So let's follow the first way, which is represented by the name revenue per available room, which is very simple. So you put equals revenue per divided by available room, 12,000. So that is RevPAR of per month. The rest of them, now you can see which hotel is doing good, which hotel is behind. Of course, the top performer is Pullman, and followed by PJI. Third one is Hilton, and the one who is performing not really good is Intercontinental and Ritz-Carlton. There's another way, second way to calculate RevPAR. Anybody remember? What's the second way of calculating RevPAR? Occupancy times ADR. Yes, occupancy times ADR, which means equals 75.8% times ADR 1.648. You see, number is exactly the same. Yes, so we can calculate RevPAR, which is one of the most important concepts of revenue management. Just we need to remember there are two ways to calculate it. First way is revenue divided by total number of rooms available, or you just simply multiply ADR by occupancy. That's it. Okay. Shall we go back to the presentation? Two strategic levers. Okay. When you talk about revenue management, it is quite simple. We have actually only two things we play with. And as far as we remember it, it becomes much more simple. First one is called time. Time includes duration. Another one is called price. We usually call it rate, if it is a room. Just we need to remember, revenue management is we do something with our time and price. That is our two strategic levers. So let's see one by one. What we can do with the time. We do it on a daily basis, just you do not realize you are doing it. Reduce arrival uncertainty. In order for us to maximize revenue, we have to make sure all the booking arrive. If there's anybody not coming, we lose revenue. That's why we have to control, we have to manage arrival uncertainty. How do we do that? We have a few different ways. We require credit card for guarantee, because otherwise they just cancel. They do not come, they no show. Next, to call guests to remind them about their booking. This is what we talked about with restaurants. You just told me that we can do revenue management with restaurants, right? If you book a very, very busy restaurant, they will call you one day prior to your reservation saying, this is the blah blah restaurant. We know that you have a dinner reservation for 2 tomorrow. Are you still coming? Yeah. This is revenue management. They want to make sure that you are still coming, so they don't lose revenue opportunity. Next one is to impose cancellation penalties. So if you cancel 24 hours prior to arrival or 48 hours prior to arrival, you get penalty, so that there's a less chance to have cancellation. To use overbooking to reduce the no-show rate. This particular hotel, Novotel and Ibis Style, we are not really exercising this because of the location. We are remotely located away from the city center, and we are kind of group hotel during the weekdays, and then we are resort during the weekend. So we do not really have many no-shows, and we do not have many walk-ins. But if you go to city center hotel, especially big city centers, they have lots of no-shows, and they have lots of walk-ins. So what they do is they make sure they always overbook. Based on what? Based on history. So they make analysis, they make a record. On average, Monday, how many no-show? Tuesday, how many no-show? Wednesday, how many no-show? For example, I'm the hotel in Las Vegas, okay, casino. And usually I have a 20 no-show, for example. And I make sure I always overbook by at least 15 rooms. So when I lose 20 no-shows, I still have a 15 overbooking. That is important to maximize our revenue. Reduce length of stay uncertainty. The booking is not always one night. We have a 2 nights booking, 3 nights booking, but people change their mind, people change their schedule, which will become our financial damage. So what we need to do is, we need to reduce the risk coming from length of stay uncertainty. So we can impose an early departure fee. When people book 2 nights, we have to stay for 2 nights. If you depart after 1 night, you pay. To ask for guest initials on a departure date at check-in. Many front office agents are asked on arrival, please can you initial on the departure date. So check-in is like this. Welcome to the hotel 보고. Okay, I can see that you are staying 3 nights with us until Saturday. Okay? Could you please sign here? Could you please initial on your departure date? Okay? To make sure that they didn't have any change, because the people can have a change, especially business trip. To remind the customer how long their stay is supposed to be. Yeah, like I just said, okay, welcome to Hotel Ibis 보고. I can see that your booking is for 3 nights. It's a standard procedure to mention it. 2 nights, 3 nights. We have to repeat. Reduce the amount of time between customers. Yes. If we can have more customers within the limited time, we can maximize our revenue. Correct? So, we have an official check-in time and check-out time. The reason we have a check-in time and check-out time is not to have a smooth housekeeping operation. It's because otherwise we cannot sell same room every day. Just imagine one of the guests depart at 8 p.m. How are you going to reset it? It's impossible. So we always have official checkout time around 12, and then official check-in time 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So we clean the room and then resell same product. To impose early check-in and late checkout fee. Yes, if you want to check in at 8 o'clock in the morning, you have to buy the room from previous night, or at least you have to pay 50%. If you want to stay until 6 p.m., 7 p.m., yes, either you book until the next day or you pay 50% based on our availability and hotel policy and situation. No reservations policy. Okay, once again, I'm talking about revenue management for restaurants. If you go to very, very popular restaurants, they refuse to take bookings. Just imagine there's always customer lining up. Okay? There's always a queue. Why do you want to take a reservation? If you take a reservation, you have a problem. What kind of problem? You have a guest sitting down eating at 6 o'clock. So you cannot take a booking until 8, right? Because it will take at least 2 hours. So you can take booking at 8. But maybe the people who was sitting at 6 o'clock will finish their meal at 7. Between 7 and 8, you have a 1 hour which is empty, but you cannot set it because you have a reservation at 8. That's why very, very popular restaurants do not take reservation, because you go, next come in, to maximize table turnover. So one thing we need to remember is everything we do here is with only one purpose, right? To maximize revenue. That's it. There's no other reason. Price management. Now, please remember, revenue management is only managing 2 things. First one was time. We already talked about it. Now, let's talk about price. What we are doing with the price. We need to decide what kind of price we are going to charge. There is a few different ways of charging right price to the right customer. First one we need to remember is competitive pricing, which means we want to make sure that our price is not too expensive or too cheap compared to our competitors. Hotel like us, especially Novotel Bogo, we do not need to do this competitive benchmarking exercise. Why? Because we know that our positioning is between which hotel and which hotel. We all know that we are supposed to sell a little bit cheaper than Royal Tulip. We all know that we are supposed to sell a little bit higher than Aston Bogo. We know. But if you are a new hotel, you need to position yourself, and this exercise is necessary to identify what is my position. So if Stella moved to another hotel as a revenue manager or pre-opening hotel, she has to do it to decide our positioning. So it's very simple. We need to list up all the qualities which matters for guest experience. which matters for pricing. For example, the quality of location, our front garden, hotel accessibility, how easy to access the hotel, quality of the guest service, is it 5-star guest service or 4-star guest service? Do we have a door person or do we have a concierge? Overall professionalism, friendliness of the staff, impression of the decor, uniforming of staff, overall cleanliness, quality of the guest rooms. Yeah, so is it 22 years old or 3 years old? Yeah, guest rooms. Health club facilities, swimming pool. Yes, is it big like a Shangri-La hotel? Parking facilities. Yes, so for example, we have a very small parking at the moment for the Novotel. Ibis-style has a huge, enormous parking. That is our selling point. Security, restaurant. If we keep scrolling down, the advantage variable like number of the total rooms, the variety of the rooms, how many room types I have, meeting room capacity, how big is the meeting rooms, size of the volume matters, right? Catering team and general manager involvement in community, because in some cases the general manager could be one of the biggest salesperson, right? So that is what it's talking about. Community perception of the hotel, the image of the hotel, reputation of the hotel, guest recognition program, group sales, yes, how strong the sales team is. Okay, so what we are trying to do is using this all the conditions and qualities and the requirements, we are grading each hotel comparing to me. Okay? If certain hotel is better than me, I give 1 point. If certain hotel is very good and much better than me, 2. And way above, 3. Slightly below me, -1. Okay? I'm much better, -2. And I'm way better, -3. So this is how we evaluate each hotel, competitor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that by calculating all the totals and average, on the bottom, we can see overall competitive setting rating is number 1 is this hotel, okay, because it's plus 12 points. And then number 2 hotel is this one, plus 6 points. And number 3 hotel is plus 2 points. So when I decide my price, my value is less than these 3 hotels, right? So it's better to position my pricing strategy below these 3 hotels. And I make sure that I sell higher rate than these 2 because their value is below me. That's how we utilize this simple chart to decide our price. That is called competitive benchmarking pricing. Another one we need to know is demand-based pricing. This is very simple. This is according to the law of supply and demand. When we have a lot of demand, we increase the price. When we have a less demand, we decrease the price. Reference pricing. Reference pricing means the one we represent our product price. So for example, if you go to the airline to make a booking, you have a different price appear. Usually it is called full price. And then there's a economic price or promotion price. And this price is coming from this reference price by discount. Okay. In the hotel's case, we call it rack rate. We are not using rack rate anymore because rack rate used to be displayed behind the front office. But now we do not display anymore, but we are still using it as a reference rate. So when we launch super sale, we usually give 50% discount, 40% discount from this reference rate. When we give industry rate, we give 30% discount from our rack rate. When we have an early bird rate, we give 10% discount, 20% discount from this reference rate. When we have a credit card promotion for restaurants, you have a card from BCA, you get 50%, right? That is coming from 50% out of reference price. But if you go to certain hotel restaurant which is very, very popular, you will see that nobody pay reference rate. Okay? Everybody pay 50% discount. Okay? But we still need this reference pricing because 50% should be out of something. So it's like a standard. Who pays which price? So now we need to decide who pays how much for same or different product we have. And there's a certain fancies we are using. Revenue management has one risk to be seen as a manipulation, to be seen as an unfairness. Because our service and product is same. When we sell deluxe room, our product is exactly same every day to every customer. Problem is, we sell with a different price. So when guests find out that I am paying higher price than the other guests for the exactly same hotel, we should be able to explain. If we cannot explain, we will create unsatisfaction, and then we will lose our guest, and we lose our reputation. That is why we are using certain fence, rate fence, to define why you get this rate, why you get this rate, what's the difference, what's the barrier. We call it rate fence. We have many different rate fence. First one is called physical rate fences. If you go to the Bali resort, they charge different price for the sea view. They put different amenities for the executive rooms. Okay? If you go to executive room, you have expensive amenities. You pay more for the furniture. For example, many resort hotel has a family room. Family room has different furniture. You have a double deck bunk bed, and then you pay more. Location of the room, if you go to some resort, you pay much more because the room is on the ground floor. What's good about it? On the ground floor, you have a direct access to swimming pool. Okay, so you have to pay more. So all of these are defining why you pay this price using physical rate fences. Another rate fences we are using is product line rate fences. Product line means we line up the product. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we charge different price. Typical example of product line rate fence is mobile phone. Every 3 months, every 6 months, we have a different version of same mobile phone. Note 5, Note 6, Note 7, Note 8, Note 9, now Note 10, right? Okay? And the function is very, very small difference. It's almost same, but the company is lining up the mobile phone, which is very similar, and charging different price, saying it's different product line. Hotel room is same. We are using different room type. Basically, some of the rooms are slightly bigger. Sometimes exactly same size, different level of the floor with a different amenities. We still call it club rooms, executive rooms, but we named it different according to the line, product line, and then we charge different price. It is also our rate fence. Another way to create rate fence is controlled availability. So we want to give a special rate in order to maximize loyalty or production or rapport. So we have to limit, only you can have this rate. Only you are accessible. So typical example is corporate rate. You make a contract. Okay, so from now on until next year, you have this rate which is only applicable to you. So we are giving controlled availability to certain customers. We have an Accor stop rate, same. Only you can get this Accor stop rate. Not even your family can get it. Only you. And Accor app, how many people know that if you make a booking through Accor app, you get 10% discount? Yeah? So it's limited access, right? So controlled availability. So in order for you to get 10% discount, you cannot make a booking on your desktop. You have to go to application of Accor and make a booking. You have this special price. By characteristics reference, some of us can make a booking only concentrating on the price. Okay? For example, when we go for our holiday, we already got the approval from your HOD, your GM. Okay? In my case, owners and Accor, head office. Once it is signed, I am always booking only the cheapest price. But in some circumstances, you cannot make a booking with the cheapest. You have to also find the price which is refundable because you have some chance to cancel it, especially business trip. Circumstances change and you might cancel. So you are looking for some flexibility with your booking. So with a different buying behavior and characteristics, we have a fence to charge different price. Market mix. So we have another class, another GM class, only to talk about market mix. But here also we need to understand that market mix is part of revenue management. Market segmentation analysis. Why we do it? Because ideally, our revenue manager wants to fill the hotel with only full rate and corporate rate. Why? Because it's most yieldable, most expensive price. Problem is, many cases we cannot do that. We still need leisure guests, we still need the groups, we still need a leisure group, we still need a airline crew, we still need a staff rate in order to be full. And it's very complicated because customers have a different buying behavior. Some of them buy 1 week in advance, some people buy 2 weeks in advance, which is called lead time. Some people only choose non-refundable, some people only choose refundable. And consumers have a different budget. Okay? This is very important to recognize. For example, if you want to target government booking, we need to understand government officials have a different level. And according to your level, you have a limitation, like our HODs. When I go for business trip, when our HOD go for business trip, we have certain budget allowed according to our level. Okay? That is usual case for all the corporate accounts and government officials. So we need to know their budget. We need to recognize it. There are two ways to increase ADR for the hotel. Selling higher rate with no change with market mix. Easy example, EB style Bogoraya is very easy. 50% of our business is online. EB style Bogoraya, 50%. Another 50% is group, MICE. If we can increase our selling rate with no change with the market mix, which means we still have a 50-50 and we increase our online rate, we increase our MICE rate, we can increase our ADR. That's the first way. Second way is shifting market mix. So we amend our market mix. This is something today you need to remember because it's something very interesting. I will show you how we can play with market mix. In case you are not familiar with term market mix, it means how many percent of your business is coming from which segment. Okay? You can see the segment is usually universal. So you have a corporate contract, government, MICE, crew, public rate, Advantage Plus, inbound travel, industry rate, group series, group ad hoc, commonly used market segments. Market mix means how many percent of our business is coming from each segment. And what I want to show you is we can increase our ADR, not pushing the rate. Here, our hotel has 480 rooms occupied. We sold 480 rooms. This 480 rooms is 100% of the business we are having, not occupancy. So we have 480 rooms we sold. And out of 480, 72 rooms were sold to corporate contract customers, which is 15% of our business. MICE is occupying only 7% of our total business, which is 34 rooms. Public rate is 20%, 96 rooms, and Advantage Plus. And then inbound, travel agent inbound is taking 25% of our business, which is 120 rooms. And we can see we have a different average rate. So, our average rate for corporate contract is 200. So we sold 72 rooms, and this is our room revenue, just times. Okay, MICE room, 34 rooms, $260 for average rate. This is our room revenue coming from that segment. So if we just calculate everything, our total room revenue is $83,396, okay, out of 480. Now, as a revenue manager, you want to improve your performance. You want to improve your ADR. You want to improve your revenue. And one way to do that is lowering price from some market segments. Here's what we want to do. We want to change mix. If you remember, our corporate contract market mix was only 15%. I want to take more business from corporate. I want to improve it up to 25%. And I want to also improve my market mix for MICE. At the moment, MICE is giving me only 7% of the total business. I want to improve it to 15%. Public rate also, at the moment, I have only 20% of my business coming from public rate online. And now I want to increase to 30%. When you want to increase your market mix, easiest way is lowering the price, right? If you sell cheap, you will get more business. Okay? So this is what you can see. We usually sell online $290. Now you are lowering your price to $260. And you are expecting to increase your market mix from 20% to 30%. Same thing going on. MICE, your usual price is $260. Now I'm lowering my price more than 15% to $220 to increase my market mix. Corporate contract is the same. My usual price is $200. I'm lowering the price to $160. Because I'm improving some market mix percentage from different segments, which means the other segments will lose market mix, right? Because total of the market mix is always 100. So, which means this area, I have to take less business. How can you make sure you have a less business? You increase the price. So, what we are doing is, inbound travel agent, we usually sell 120. Now we are increasing price to 140. And I'm planning to lose 10% of the business from this inbound. I'm pushing down my group ad hoc. Group ad hoc means one-off group, okay, not series. So group ad hoc from 120 usual price, now I'm changing to 140. Why? I want to take less business from group ad hoc. From 20% of the business, now I really do not want this business anymore because this is too cheap. If we manage to change mix like this with exactly same number of rooms sold, I'm not expecting to have a better occupancy, exactly same occupancy. So number of room, total room sold is exactly same, which is 480. Number of rooms sold for corporate will be 480 times 25%, correct? So equals this one times Okay? So you can see that by lowering the price, we managed to sell 120 instead of usually 72 rooms. So let me finish all the other segment. Now we have a different number of rooms we have sold due to the change of our rate. And if we calculate number of rooms sold times average rate, we have a different room revenue. You can see that our room revenue was 83,396 with the previous market mix. Now, because we lowered the rate for our major segments, corporate, MICE, and public rate, total revenue has increased, which means our ADR has increased as well. 174. Average rate 174, now it's becoming 188. So we managed to increase our ADR and RevPAR by 8.4%. What we did was very simple. We just decreased the price for our main segments, our target segments. So if you remember the question I asked in the beginning of the session, we have to increase our selling price in order to increase ADR. Is it true? No. We can still increase our ADR, not pushing the rate. Even lowering the rate, we can still increase ADR. Let's move on to revenue management gold rules. I think all of you are already aware. Anybody can remember? What's the 2 rules you need to remember? Okay, good. Some of you were awake 3 weeks ago. Okay. The first rule you need to remember is restrictions never create demand. So, if you remember, one of the questions in the beginning was, when we are almost 100%, we can increase the price or we can close the lowest room category. This is wrong. That's what I'm trying to say with this sentence. Almost full means you are 98%. Almost full means you are 99%. So your concern is when you still have 2 rooms left, 3 rooms left, our concern should be how we can sell these remaining rooms because it's perishable. If we cannot sell it today, we have no chance to sell it tomorrow, right? So why you close the room type? It's wrong. We have to make sure we open everything as long as this is giving us profit. Restrictions do not increase client's maximum budget. So just remember that, of course, sometimes there's an exception, right? So when we say, oh no, minimum price we have is this, otherwise you cannot book us. Sometimes it works. I'm not saying it's 100% true. But in usual cases, our clients will not change their budget because of our offer, because of our occupancy. Very good example is this. At the moment, I'm trying to book some Jakarta hotels for the last week of the month because my parents are coming. Okay? So I'm trying to stay 1 week in Jakarta. And now I already asked Ibunina to contact all the luxury hotel in Jakarta to find out what kind of rate they're going to give me. So we are contacting Raffles, Fairmont, Shangri-La, Hyatt, Grand Hyatt. And for Grand Hyatt and Shangri-La, I will check their offer and I will decide how much I want to pay. Okay? For Fairmont and Raffles, I'm very, very sure if they do not give me stop rate, I will not book. Just because their occupancy is high, if they say, okay, Mr. Choi, this time you need to pay 2 million, they have a 0 chance for me to book them, right? Because I usually pay with stop rate. Why should I pay 2 million? I will just book 4 seasons, right? Because of 4 seasons, I do not have a stop rate. So if they cannot give me stop rate, I will go to another hotel. So that is something you need to remember. Clients will not change their budget because of you. Now, I want you to be a revenue manager for next 30 minutes. And then this session will be finished. Like I said in the beginning, I do not want to make this session blah, blah, blah. So I want to show you some of the actual situation we can deal with as a revenue manager. So hopefully you have brought your calculator. There will be some simple exercises. Okay, so we have 2 people, 3 people sitting in one desk, right? So please work together to find out what would be the answer for each question.